When we both graduated in 1964, and obviously being a school teacher and a coach was an aspiration of mine. And the dean of women at our school and the dean of men referred Joe Carroll and me to Joe Hayes, who formerly was around the Livingston area as a principal in Alabama before coming to Georgia himself. So he maintained his contacts with Livingston State College at that time. And, she said, we understand the pay's a little better in Georgia than it is here in Alabama. Why don't you call Mr. Hayes and go over to Ackworth, Georgia? We made the trip over, and we were about 30 minutes early from our designated time to get here. And I got out of the vehicle and we stood and looked out over Lake Ackworth, actually toward the beach area. You could see the beach from where we were. And I said, this is where I want to live. And that was without even seeing Mr. Hayes or the community itself. He had a position for me because I guess my certification fit opening that he had. And he said, right now I don't have anything for Joe Carroll, but he said, we're going down to North Cobb and see Steve Cantrell, who's principal down there. So we hopped in the car and drove down to North Cobb. And Steve Cantrell had a vacancy in English and Spanish. And Joe, my wife, Joe Carroll, accepted a position at North Cobb to teach English and Spanish. And of course, this was in the month of May. In the month of June, it was probably 2 to 3 weeks after we'd been over here, Mr. Hayes called the Red Cross because he knew where I was working. He said, I'd like for y'all to come back over here next weekend if you can. Said, we've got some changes that have been made. He said, I'm not going to tell you what they are because I want to surprise you, because he said, I think you're going to love them. So I called her at school, and she came on home that Friday, and we got up that next morning, made our drive over here. And Mr. Hayes said, what I told you before, that's all null and void now. He said, I've got some changes to make. Both of you are going to be teaching here at this school because I now have an English vacancy, 8th grade English. And he said, so I called Steve Cantrell, Joe Carroll will be here, and you'll still be here, so both of you are going to be here. And that was great news because we kind of wanted to be in the same school at least the first year that we taught. And I've been now, I've been a teacher for 5 years. I've worked in the central office for like 4 years. I had gone out, done a lot of workshops in other states in career education. So when Mr. Keenum asked me to come to Ackworth, my wife was still teaching there. And I said, first of all, I thought, I've got to go back and be principal of a school that I started teaching in, and and at least half of the faculty is still there, a little more than half of them. And I said, I was just a greenhorn, and they were 10-year veterans when I started, and you want me to go back over there and be the principal? Yeah, he said, yes, I do. He said, I need you to go there. And when I came back to Ackworth, it was like, it was terror when I walked in there and looked, and I see all those veteran teachers sitting there, and but it turns out to be the greatest move I ever made. I spent the next 18 years there. We had some great times up there, and my philosophy as a principal was always to make school a fun place, a place that they enjoyed coming to and they learned. It's great to see people that you taught and see them when you were principal. You see kids go through and turn out to be highly successful people. One of the things that there was a quote that I always used at school was that people don't remember what you tell them or what you teach them or what you show them in government, they may not remember that, but they remember how you treated them. People never forget how you treat them. If you treat them with dignity and kindness and fairness as they see it, whatever they perceive as fair, if you treat them that way, they'll trust you. And that has always been the way I tried to do people. I try to be fair, honest, and just be myself and treat them with total respect.